Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today is going to be something very different from anything I've done before, and I don't need to sort of surprise you with this because you have read the title of the video already. Today I'm going to be doing 3 looks from the Modern Renaissance palette, and I feel like I should entitle this video, "If I Can Do It, You Can Do It." These are total beginner looks. 2 of them I quite like. This one, which is the last one, not too sure about, but it gives a chance to practice skills, and for me, I get a chance to show you what I've been playing around doing. You can go ahead and critique my skills, tell me what I should be doing, but what I wanted to do was do 3 looks from this palette, and I will tell you why. For those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you probably know that when I hit 250 subscribers, I did a giveaway, and that giveaway was what I called a Pick Your Palette giveaway. Basically, people who were subscribed and commented on that video were entered, and I showed 5 different palettes, and whoever won chose the palette that they wanted. I then got the palette, sent it to them, and also got one for myself. None of these are palettes that I had owned, and then I would do some looks from it. And I'm hoping to be able to do a few videos like this with looks from this palette. So the lucky winner chose the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, which I was super happy about because you hear about this everywhere on YouTube, and this is the very first high-end eyeshadow palette that I have ever owned, and I'm having so much fun playing with it. So I sent that package along with a few other goodies inside of it, and the winner received that this week. I got an email from her, so this is a great time to be able to do this video. As I said, this is very new for me. I don't really film tutorials. It's kind of outside of my comfort zone a little bit. This is going to be a longer video, so get yourself a glass of water or a cup of coffee or tea, settle in. What I will do is put timestamps down below for the 3 different looks. So if you're not interested in one, you can kind of skip ahead and watch another one. But I do think when I get to editing this is going to be a long one, so I hope you don't mind. If you like these kinds of tutorials, please give me a thumbs up. That would let me know that you like these kinds of things, that you want to see more of them, and I do like the idea of doing 3 looks. What I've tried to do with these looks is do different things with each look, obviously. Let me expand on that a little bit more. There's different colors in here. So what I tried to do was first do a neutral, more everyday look. I then tried to use something that was more of the oranges and yellows and do a different technique there. And then finally use the colors that are more reds and pinks and do something that was a little bit more outside of my comfort zone and quite different from anything I have done before. I am more than happy to come up with more looks for this palette. There's a ton of things that you can do. It is just, I mean, I'm not gonna swatch and all that kind of stuff. There are a ton of videos out there on YouTube for that, if that is what you want to do. But this palette is just beautiful and wonderful, and I'm so glad that I have it. And I hope you enjoy watching these looks. We're going to start with the more everyday look, which is what I have here right now without any mascara on. I'm going to zoom you in so I can show you what I'm doing and then recreate it on the other eye in a tutorial. So this is the look that we're going for, and with this one we're sticking to the more browns and taupes and just a little bit of the sort of mauve gray color that's in there to add a little bit of interest. So I've been playing around with this for a few days, and being a beginner, I always hope I'm able to recreate the looks again that I liked when I've been playing around with it. And this one I thought I liked because it was using the taupes and the browns and really the neutral shades to show how you can get an everyday neutral look with this palette. I'm going to start with a big fluffy brush, and this one here is Omnia Balm 40 shader. This actually came in a BoxyCharm box a while ago. I'm going into Tempera, which is the very light shade, and I'm just dusting that all over to kind of give myself a white canvas to start with. Once I've done that, I'm going to take a small, stiffer blending brush, and this is the Omnia one again. This is the Balm 18 detail brush, and I'm going into Warm Taupe. Now, because I have hooded eyes, I don't know if this is a totally wrong technique, but this is what I will do, is I relax my eye, because this is how my eye looks when I'm not, you know, if I do my makeup looking like this, everything's gonna look different when I relax. So I try to relax my eye, And then with that shade, I'm going to just go along where you can actually see. So for example, I'll try to do it here. Because when I actually relax, I want to be able to just see the top of that color blended, like I have it on this side. So I want to sort of give myself a line of where I'm going to fill the color in from my lid up to when I'm in more of a relaxed position. I then take warm taupe, close my eye, and fill in everywhere from here down in sort of this triangle. So it's a little less than half your lid that I'm trying to get here. So when I open, you just see a little bit of the color, and when I close, you see quite a lot. What I like to do, and again, I think this is a beginner thing, is place all of my colors everywhere and then do the blending. If I start to blend at this point, I tend to overblend, things get blended out, things don't go where I want them to be. So I find it better to do more precise placement and then blend the edges. I'm then going to take a very flat, dense brush, and I apologize that I can't really see what this is on here. It's a definer, but it's more of a acrylic flat brush. And I'm going into Vermeer, which is that really nice sort of neutral shimmer color. And basically I'm going to fill in all over here up to the edge where I stopped warm taupe. And I'm trying to do everything just with the shadows in the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. If I was doing this for every day, I would probably go in right in the center with a more sort of blingy highlight color, but I'm trying to stick with looks that you can get just using this palette. So I've kind of filled in right up to next to where I have warm taupe, and then I'm going to start to sort of overlay it a little bit. It lets them blend together and lets the shimmery shade have a bit more of the eyelid than the dark shade. And what I find as well is I kind of go in with my finger into Vermeer and sort of pat that in the middle to blend it and get a little bit more impact. So we now have the two shades there, and once again, when I have my eyes open, you can just see sort of the tops of those shades peeking through. And now we are going to blend along where the crease is, which is sort of above these shades. Again, because I have hooded eyes, a lot of tutorials start with doing the crease, and if I do that, I find I naturally make it lower. I try to sort of raise where my crease is up a little bit because of the hooded eyes to sort of give the illusion of having more depth there. So I'm going to take a big fluffy blending brush, and this is a tapered blending from Bogachies. We got this again, I think in a BoxyCharm box or maybe an Ipsy bag a few months ago. And to give this a little bit more character and depth, I'm going into Bon Fresco, which is a little bit more of a grayish purple taupe shade. And I'm going to blend all along the top, along the edge of where I set that color. So now I've blended out the top so it's not quite as harsh, and added a little bit more color with that sort of, as I said, purpley gray shade. Now I know this is a little messy on the outside edge. I tend to get a little bit messy. I go back in with some under eye concealer afterwards to clean that up. Because I have rather far set eyes, I don't make my, dark smoked out eye go really far out this way, or it just gives the illusion of my eyes being even further apart. So I try to basically keep my, oops, I'll pick that brush up later. I try to keep my shadow basically from the tail of my eyebrow to the corner of my eye. That's kind of where I want it to end. I don't really want anything past there, or else I feel like it pulls my eyes out a little bit, and I want a little bit more lifting and not to give the illusion of them being further apart than they are. Now I'm going to go back with that sort of dense shading brush, and I'm going to go into the darkest color here, which is Cypress Umber. It's a dark brown. And this one I find to be really dusty. There's a lot of fallout. And I'm just going to put that along the lash line and then blend it up a little bit just to give a little bit, whoa, fallout. Whoa. This is why, oh my gosh, this is why I am going to clean up afterwards with my under eye concealer. It is a really, really dusty shade. I'm gonna go into my little shader, or blender I should say, and this one here is, because I dropped my other one, this is a Luxie 229 tapered blending, and just blend the edge of where I put that darker color. I have two last eyeshadow steps here before I clean this up, and the first is to, because Vermeer is a beautiful shade but it's not super impactful, I'm going to use a little bit of, I'm going to dampen the brush that I used to put it on to get a little bit more impact. I'm currently using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting spray. I'm not a huge fan of this as a setting spray, but it's fine for wetting brushes. And basically I'm going to go into Vermeer and just add it right in the middle of my lid, which gives it a little bit more impact, and sort of tap it around a bit. So the last thing that I'm going to do, because this is more of an everyday look and I don't necessarily want big winged eyeliner or anything, but I kind of want to define that lash line a little bit. I'm going to take this little brush, which is actually, well, it is an eyeliner, angled liner brush, and I'm going into that dark Cypress Umber, tapping it so I don't get quite as much fallout, and then just pressing it along my lash line. Even then, look at all that fallout. Now I'm going to clean all this up with under eye concealer. I've been testing out, just from a sample, NARS Soft Matte Concealer, and this is in Vanilla Light 2. This is what's hopefully going to save how crazy all this fallout is. And as I said, I'm going to sort of try to clean it up with concealer so that it's not quite as pulled out as it was. So it sort of takes away some of the smokiness a little bit of it. But as I said, for me, this is more of an everyday look, and I don't want my eyes to be super pulled apart because wide set eyes to start with. What I am gonna do is take my little blending brush, and because I use this to blend, there's probably a little bit of product left on it, but I just don't want that line there to be super harsh, so I'm just kind of blending a little tiny bit there. What I'm gonna do is go away, finish my eyebrows, put on some mascara and a lip product, and I'll be back to show you the finished look. So here we are with the finished look. I did my eyebrows very simply just by going through with a little bit of powder, the one from the NYX 3-in-1, and then just brushing that through with a spoolie. So super easy eyebrows. I used my Milani Baked Blush in Berry Amore on my cheeks. On my eyes, since this is more of an everyday look, I used my CoverGirl Total Tease just on the top lashes. I didn't do anything on my bottom lash line. I didn't do any smoking out down there or any lining. You can if you want to. For me, I find not having anything on the lower lash line gives me sort of a brighter, lighter kind of everyday look. And then to finish that off, I did a slightly nude lip. I ended up going in with my Tartist lip paint, and that is in the color Rosé, to finish off the look. So this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills sort of neutral everyday look that I've come up with. Look number 2 is going to be more of a coppery, yellowy spotlight eye, and I've done it on this side. I'm going to zoom you in, clip my hair back, and then we're going to recreate it on this side so you can see how I got the look. So this is what we are going for. Something that does have some impact when my eyes open and then really brings brightness to the center of it. Now what I'm doing on this side, because I want the base to really have a smooth base to start with, is I'm going to use some concealer on my lid as my primer. That gives everything a blank canvas to start with, and again I fluff over a bit of tempera, or you could just use a translucent powder. I just like to powder it up a little bit so that the concealer underneath isn't too sticky when I start to do the look. So again, I'm going to start with a sort of dense shader brush, and this one is a Sephora brush from a little Sephora brush kit, and it is the smudge brush. And once again, I'm going to sort of put the colors in. It's gonna look kind of crazy, and then blend it out at the end, because for me the number one thing is making sure that I'm placing the colors in the way that I want them. So what I'm trying to do here is have a bright center and then get the colors to be darker at the inner and outer corner of my eyes so that the brightness is right in the middle. And what I'm going to do is start with the mid-tone color. I'm going to leave the space in the center for the shimmery color, and I'm going to start with burnt orange. And what I'm going to do is get it onto my shader brush here, and I'm going to look straight ahead because basically when I'm looking straight ahead, I want the brightness to be right above where my pupil is. So I'm going to do that, and that's where I'm going to leave the space. So I'm going to start my color right about here. And again, I'm doing that thing where I relax my eyes so that I can see where I want the color to be, because then I know where to fill in below and still have the impact of a bit of color when my eyes are relaxed. And then I just fill in right into the front corner of my eye and all the way down to the lash line with that burnt orange color. I'm then going to repeat the same thing on the other side where I look straight ahead, use the brush there as a bit of a guide, and I went in a little bit too far on the inner corner, but hey, that's okay. Relax, leave a little bit of a space, and then define where you're going to do this all the way to the outer corner of the eye and then fill in down to the lash line, leaving that negative space in the middle for the lighter spotlight color. I'm going to sort of join a little bit up at the top because I want it to sort of be a spotlight in the middle, and then around it will be the darker color. Look how crazy this looks right now. I know it looks crazy. That's okay. Now I'm going into the very orange color down here that's called, I'm sure this is the name of an artist that I'm not pronouncing properly, Religar. And I'm using the same little brush because it's a darker color and it's going on top of the other one, so it doesn't matter if it mixes a bit. And I'm just doing the very inner and very outer corners and keeping it kind of close to the lash line. So that just deepened up that inner corner. And I'm going to do the same there with the outside. Once again, I know this is an unblended mess at the moment. That's okay. We're then going to go in with your finger, my finger on my face, your finger on your face, and go into the Primavera color, which is the shimmery yellow. And what I'm going to do is tap that right in the negative space that I've made in the middle, and then also all around so it kind of blends into the color beside. And already it's starting to blend and make everything look quite a bit nicer. So now that we have our spotlight in the middle going, I need to blend the top of this and a little bit of these colors together. And I'm going to take a little bit of golden ochre, which is a yellow color, keeping everything looking very coppery and yellow, and use that to blend along the top. And these are really blendable shades, so especially with these orange ones, it doesn't take much to blend it all out. And then also use that brush to blend some of your darker color if it needs a little bit of blending. I sort of did a bit of golden ochre and a little bit of burnt orange again, just to make that crease a little deeper. And I say crease, but I'm actually doing it quite high. Again, I want there to be some impact to this look when my eyes are open, so I kind of blow out the crease a little bit to the top. What I often do as well is go back into tempera and sort of blend along the top with that color to keep everything nice and blended. Now I'm looking over here and I can see that this isn't quite even. I've done a little bit more of the darker color up there, so I'm just gonna take some time to blend and even that out. There we go. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to go in and do a little bit of the lower lash line, but I'm going to take my concealer, use it under my eyes, and then again clean up this outside area just a little bit to sort of keep everything a little bit more tucked in. Again, with my eyes, I try not to pull everything out too much. It just makes my eyes look further set apart than they are. So I'm going to take my little flat shader brush, and I've cleaned this off a little bit. I'm going to go into Primavera, which is the shimmery yellow shade, and use that sort of middle to the center of my eye on the lower lash line, so give it a little bit of shimmeriness. It doesn't show up a lot, but it adds a little something. And then I'm going to take that burnt orange shade and smoke that along the lower lash line and do sort of enough to join it up there at the top. I'm not going all the way across, I'm kind of going to the middle. And then the final thing that I'm going to do on the lower lash line, take my hard-working little eyeliner brush, go into that brightest orange shade, Relgar, and go just right along, just like the outer third of my lash line, and not really smoking it out, just letting it sort of sit there. So that is the eye look. I'm going to go, again, do my lashes, do the lipstick that I'm going to do for this look, and I will be back to show you the final look. So I'm back with the rest of my makeup on, and I'm really going for a glowy, bronzy goddess look with this look. So I used a bit of Primavera in my inner corners. I used my It Superhero mascara to do my lashes. I did a little bit of tight lining with my Lord & Berry black liner just on the upper lash line. I still want this to be very bright. I don't want to be dragged down by like super heavy liner. So I just used tight lining to define my lash line a little bit. I bronzed myself up with my Ciate bronzer, and on my lips it is the Juice Beauty blush, or Juice Beauty gloss, with a bit of my Ofra highlight tapped over top to give her this shimmery look that I have, and then also just a lot of highlighter. So this is the finished look. So this is a look that I would maybe use to go out for a night with friends. I mean, I wouldn't feel self-conscious being out in this. It's a little bit more, it's a little bit bright, but I think it would be a really nice summertime look, especially if you're wearing something very white. It would just really pop as a really nice shimmery golden copper loveliness, and I think it really does draw the attention to the center of the eyes. So I'm zoomed in and have my hair pulled back already for our third look, which is our most adventurous and also my first attempt at sort of a cut crease. So in this look we're going to be using some of the more red tones from the palette, the sort of reddish pink tones, and we're going to be doing this look, which now that I look at here could be a little bit more blended, but hey, we're beginners and we are playing, so I will show you how I did this on this eye. For this one, I'm again using concealer as a base, and I'm using the Benefit Erase Paste. It's pretty thick concealer, and we're also going to use this later on for the cut crease. And with this one, I'm going to put it on as a base, but I'm not going to powder over it because I actually want it to be kind of sticky so that the powder really grabs onto it. And this time I am going to start with sort of the crease shades, and I'm using this taper blending brush from Bogashi, and I'm going to start off with raw sienna. So I'm just sort of tapping that in there, tapping it off, and I'm going really high. Basically I want it to be like touching my lash line up there. And with this one as well, I'm going to bring it into the center and also wing it out a little bit here. Now that I've done that, I'm touching into the burnt orange and back to the raw sienna. I just kind of want to grab both of those colors and darken up even more, again staying pretty high. And I will admit that this brush has some of the reds left over, so I'm probably getting a little bit of red up there too, but that's okay. Woo, I went way too far out here. That's what concealer is for later, to clean that up. I'm looking so pale and crazy right now. I'm then going to tap into Venetian red, which is sort of the most true red. Love Letter is a little bit pinker, and I'm going to use this and still keep it pretty high because I want these colors to actually show once I've done the cut crease, which means I need them to be a bit higher up. And I'm placing that a little bit lower than I did with the Raw Sienna and the Burnt Orange. So basically I'm just trying to build up colors deep enough so that when I do the cut crease, you're going to really notice that there's a cut there. And then I'm going to go into Love Letter, which is this awesome pinky red color. And concentrating at the edge, but pull it all the way through. That's going to be our brightest color that is down closest to the cut crease. And I really find when people talk about this palette blending really well, the reds are really nice, the reds and oranges. And I'm going to use just a touch of the red ochre to deepen up out here. It's looking a little patchy, and I think that's probably because, oh, and I'm looking crazy, but I think the patchiness is a lot because I'm blending right on top of kind of a sticky concealer. So I didn't worry too much about how messy that was, but now we're going to get to the cut crease part. And this is the part where I think it's probably going to be hard to keep these even between my eyes. So I'm going to be taking this little tiny brush, and I know that this came in my little Sephora eye kit, but I don't really know what it is anymore, but basically it's just a very fine and flat brush. Every time it focuses back on my face, I realize how crazy I look. And I'm going to be taking my Benefit Erase Paste, really any kind of thick concealer, and I'm going to use this to cut out the cut crease, and as much as possible try to keep it even to the other eye. Try to do this where you can see it. I would like it if this concealer was a little bit thicker. It does move around a little bit. And then I'm bringing it down. Oops, sorry, I'm sort of taking that line, which is a little thick with concealer, and bring it down to start to erase, cover up any of the red that is below the cut crease. Not too worried about the outside edges because I'm probably going to clean those up a little bit. Now, because this is concealer and it is going to move around because it's not that stiff, I'm going to set it, and I'm going to do that by going in with just with my finger in tempera, although you could probably do this if you don't want to waste eyeshadow doing this. You could probably just do it with a setting powder. I'm just trying to take away some of the stickiness of the concealer and keep it from moving around anymore. Now I've kind of moved the line around a little bit doing that, but I'm going to go back in and define it again in a moment. And then I'm going to go in with my finger to Vermeer because I'm trying to make the shadow, or the lid I should say, under the cut crease sort of a shimmery color. And I have to admit, if I wasn't trying to do this all from one palette, this isn't the most impactful shimmer. I would probably get like a highlight and make something super, super blingy. I'm going to get my trusty angle brush here, the Sephora eyeliner brush, and I'm going to go into Love Letter and trace along where I did that cut crease to define it a little bit more. I should have started with this eye. I find this eye harder to do than this one, and especially getting things to match up. But hey, very few people are going to look at our makeup as closely as we do, right? Now, I didn't originally do this on this side, but I can see that these need to be evened out a little bit just in terms of sort of where the color is, that sort of thing. So I'm going to take some time just to try to even things out a bit. And I'll go back into that Raw Sienna, which was sort of the base color, to help blend it a little bit. And the last thing I'm going to do is use that little angled brush, eyeliner brush, again into Love Letter and line my lash line on the upper lash line in lieu of using eyeliner. And then just to deepen it up a little bit more, I'm just going to add the babiest of wings there. I'm going to go into Red Ochre. And line a little bit with that as well. Is it perfect? Heck no. Are we learning our skills a little bit more? Sure. Trying something I haven't tried before. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I am going to go and do the rest of my makeup so I don't look so ghostly down here. I'm going to do some mascara. If you're the kind of person who likes to use false lashes, this is when I would pop on false lashes, and I will come back to show you the final look. So I'm back with the final look. It's looking a little more editorial than I would normally do. This is way outside the box for me, but hey, if you can't have fun with makeup, what can you have fun with? For the eyelashes that ended up being very strong, especially the lower lashes, I used my Duce Max Lash Volumizer Mascara. For the lips, I first put on my I Am Loved lip liner, but it came out a little bit too purple, so I then used my Tease Romantic Red lipstick, and I sort of did the inner part so that it kind of goes from red to purple on my lips, and then I did a lot of bronzer and contour and did my brows a little bit stronger than I usually do, and here we are. It's a little crazy. I would feel a little scared going outside in this look, but it gave me a chance to play with some skills that I hadn't really played with before. So there you go, guys. That was the 3 looks that I've come up with just to start with within about a week of playing with the Modern Renaissance palette. Again, if you like this, if you want to see more videos like this, please give a thumbs up. It will let me know. If you have comments on things that you would like to see me do, tutorials you would like to see me do. I hate calling them tutorials because I'm not a teacher in this area. I'm just showing you what I am playing around with. Leave comments down below if you have suggestions on how I can improve my technique or videos that I should watch, other folks who do awesome eyeshadow tutorials, especially hooded eyes. Leave those in the comments as well. I respond to every comment that I get, and I love chatting with you guys. If you've not subscribed yet and you wish to watch more content from me, I try to put out 3 makeup / skincare review videos per week, so on Monday, Wednesday, Friday as much as possible, and then I have my Money Honey series on the weekend. You can subscribe by clicking on my face, which will appear at the end of this video, or there's probably a subscribe button somewhere down there. And that is it for today. I am so looking forward to seeing you guys in my next video, and have a wonderful day. Bye!